Hey everyone, welcome back to the Photobooth Supply Co YouTube channel. My name is Cameron from the Photobooth Supply Co Success team. And in today's live stream, we're going to be going over how you can maximize your virtual booth customization on SALSA. A lot of these things we've actually talked about over the last couple weeks and even months in different live streams that we've done, but I don't think we've done a video that really ties them all together. So that's what the live stream today is going to be all about, how you can combine all of these different customization options that we've been talking about and really maximize your next event when it comes to upsells and things that you can offer, really different ways to stand out from your competition. So for this live stream, I always do a sample event to kind of show off what I'm going to be doing and to just have something to work with. With the next big holiday coming up being 4th of July, which is crazy. I can't believe that we're already in June. This year is flying by. I'm going to be doing this one all 4th of July themed. So obviously this could apply to any sort of event, whether it's a wedding or a birthday party, whatever it might be. So that's just going to be the example for today. As always, if anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. I love interacting with you guys. I'd be curious to see who's visiting. Throw your Instagram name in the chat if you'd like as well. And we'll just kind of get started with everything. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys as I always do. And we're going to be starting out in SALSA. So like I said, I've already made an event. This is going to be a 4th of July themed event. And I'm going to be focusing mostly on a couple things. So the first one is going to be custom interfaces, then custom start buttons, stickers, which if you've watched the last couple live streams, you know that stickers and me have had a weird relationship, but this time I think it's going to go all right. And then I'm really going to be talking about how you can bring in the photo background removal as well. So that does apply whether or not it's a virtual event or an in-person green screen event. And we talked a ton about green screen last week. So if you missed that and you want to learn more about green screen or really anything else that's SALSA related, check out the other videos on our channel. We have a ton of different videos and a bunch of different content for all of that. The only thing that I'm not going to be going over today for the customization are really the overlays. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be using Canva for all of our designs today, along with some other sites that you guys might find handy. And I have covered overlays in quite a bit of detail in another video. We did it a couple weeks ago, and it was all about making overlays and photo templates in Canva for SALSA. So if you really want to focus on overlays, like I said, we have an entire dedicated video to that where we go really in depth and talk a lot in detail about everything that Canva can do. So like I said, we're going to get started with the event here in SALSA. So just as always, I'm going to go up to configure event. Now I've already clicked on virtual booth because that's what I'm going to be working with today. And the virtual booth, I've already enabled it. So what we're going to be focusing mostly on now is the custom interface. Like I said, the custom start button, stickers, and then background removal. So the background removal, there'll actually be a couple tips and hints that we talked about last week when Catalina and I did the video about green screen. But again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll be checking that from time to time as well. And again, if you're just getting here, we're just getting started, so you haven't missed anything. I would love to hear where you guys are watching from. Feel free to throw your Instagram to the chat as well. Love checking those out as well. So let's get started with the custom interface. Now, the custom interface, you can kind of think of this like a featured image, but this is going to be for your virtual booth. So if I actually go and look at our virtual booth here, it's pretty blank so far. We can see that this gray background, it's not bad, it's just gray, right? So we can spice this up, and in order to spice this up, this is where a custom interface is going to come into play. So when it comes to actually creating a custom interface, you have a couple different options. The first one is you could always go into Canva and make your own custom design. But like Catalina and I were talking about last week when we were talking about the green screens, there are a ton of websites that have free stock photos for you to use on your events. Now, you always want to make sure you're reading the terms and conditions. You know, for example, there are a lot of stock image sites that you do have to pay for the photo, but make sure you do so. All it takes is just one company seeing that you use their photo without permission, and it's going to be a bad day. So just make sure you have permission for everything that you're using. One of the websites I really like for a lot of this stuff is Unsplash. And I love Unsplash for a couple of different reasons, but it's because that you can, these photos are free to use. But I also really love them because the photos are really, really high quality. So you're going to get some really nice images from this page. And just looking at the chat, wow, we've got somebody watching from Trinidad and Tobago. That's awesome. That's great. We got Ricky from Alabama. We really got everybody from everywhere today. That's great. So getting back into Unsplash, like I was saying, I'm going to be doing a 4th of July event. So the cool thing with Unsplash is you can really kind of search for whatever you want. We can actually see that one of the trending searches is American flag. Makes a lot of sense with Memorial Day and with 4th of July coming right around the corner. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm just actually going to search United States and just see what we get. We, of course, have a lot of flag photos. We have just scenery. Maybe what I'll do, I'm actually going to search for American flag as well and see what we have to work with. Okay, cool. So I have a couple of good results. And like I said, these photos are all super high quality. So maybe I wanted to go with something like this. The cool thing is you can download it for free and you can actually choose the sizing. So I'm just going to go with the medium size. We don't really need anything too big. Save that to my computer. And I'm going to go back into the event now. And in the custom interface, I'm going to actually upload the photo. So I'm going to upload that one right here. Let it do its thing. And then I'm going to select that. Select all here just to see everything. I'm going to select that as my custom interface. And that's really it. I mean, obviously you can make your own, like I was saying. This is kind of like the background screen that you see for in-person events, but for virtual events. And so now if I go into my event or into my virtual booth here and I refresh it, we're going to see that we now have that really nice background here. A little goes a long way. Like just not having a plain gray background and having this image and this design, it just adds a little bit of depth and makes it look even nicer. So we're going to keep going with that and we're going to make this even better as we continue. So now the next thing I want to do is create a custom start button because I want to have something that's going to match. I want something that's a little bit different than just this circle that says start virtual booth. This is also a really great opportunity if you're doing any international events or maybe you're based in a different country. You can even localize this a little bit, make the start button say something in the language of your clients or wherever you're located. And that way it's maybe a little bit easier to use and understand. But for today, I just want to spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit more 4th of July themed. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to actually go into the SALSA file requirements cheat sheet. Now, if you guys don't know how they get here, it's really, really easy to find it. I'll actually close out and walk you guys through this. If I close out of my settings and I click on support here on the left-hand side, click on SALSA app, and then scroll down to important links, I'm going to find the SALSA file requirements right here. And these file requirements are going to give me all of the file requirements, not just for virtual booth stuff, but for anything that we can customize in SALSA. So this page is your best friend. You want to make sure you have this bookmarked, you save it. If you have a designer, send it over to them. You want to always have this page handy. So now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find the virtual booth section because that's what we're working with right now. And I want to make a custom start button. So I need to make it at, the minimum size is 300 by 300 pixels, but the recommended size is 600 by 600. So that's what I'm going to go with. I also have to save it as either a JPEG or a PNG. Now, because I'm not going to be just doing like a square, I probably want to save it as a PNG so I maintain that transparency. So I'm going to go into Canva. I have my 600 by 600 design here. And what I'm going to do for this is I'm actually just going to search, I'm going to search 4th of July and see what we have. So let's see. There are actually a lot of really good designs here that I like, but which one do we want to go with? Maybe I'll do, I actually kind of liked one that I saw up here. We'll go with this one that has the little flags. And what I'll even do is maybe, do I want to keep this confetti? No, I'll get rid of that. So I'm actually just going to get rid of this confetti here because I want to really just focus on the start button. I'm going to leave the flags, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here, happy 4th of July. And then down here, I'm going to put tap to start virtual booth. And then I'm just going to get rid of this address. Now you could, of course, put something there. Maybe you wanted to put your company name, for example, Photobooth Supply Co, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to use this as my start button. So that's really it. You can use one of the built-in designs in Canva, of course. You can make your own. You have a ton of different options as far as that's concerned. But now that I have this made, I want to bring it in the SALSA. So I'm going to click on download. I'm going to save it with a transparent background as I normally do, because of course I don't want it to be a white background. I want it to be completely transparent. So I'm going to click on download, transparent background, download that. It's going to save that to my computer as well. And then if I go into SALSA, I go back to my my virtual booth settings. I'm going to turn the custom start button on, click on edit, and then just do basically the same thing as I did before. I'm going to upload that, let that do its thing, show all, so it's easier to find, and then click on it. So now that's going to be our start button. And just like before, if I go back, I can actually refresh our virtual booth and see what that's going to look like. So it's a little small. Maybe I would want to make it a little bit bigger. That blue text also doesn't look great with that white right there. So maybe I want to make that a little bit bigger as well. So the cool thing about this is obviously you can upload something and then change it. So like I just did here, I'm not happy with how this looks. I really would like it to be a little bit bigger. So what I can actually do is I'm going to select all in Canva, and I'm actually just going to drag it and make it a little bit bigger here. Put it right in the middle. And a lot of this is just kind of playing around with it and seeing what works best. I want to make maybe this even a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll make this a hair bigger as well. Bigger, but making sure that it still fits within this 600 by 600. So I'll put that right here. And then I'll bump this up as well. So now it should be a little bit bigger for us. Maybe I'll bump that down a little bit as well. And then one other thing I could do is, like I said, this text right here didn't really look that great with it being blue, because the background is also blue. So I have a couple different options. I could either just change the color. Maybe I wanted to make this white instead, but I'm kind of worried that if I make it white, it might blend into the stars. So what I might actually do is maybe I'll try to find like a, if I go into elements here, I could do, like a paintbrush stroke. Now, trust me, this will make sense, I promise. Where we have something like this, and then maybe what I'll do here is I'll make this bigger, put it behind the text maybe, and then I'll change this to white, which obviously we're not going to see because I guess I could change this background to just temporarily so you guys can see. So just so it's a little bit easier to see, I'm going to send that to the very back, and then I'll probably just copy and paste that, do the same thing with it down here as well. Send it to back. That way, regardless of what color this background is going to be, it's not going to matter because we're going to have something behind that text. And that's something you can do as well in your overlays. So if you don't always know what color clothes people are going to be wearing in the photo, you can always put something. It could be a design like I did with a paintbrush stroke here. That way you can see the text a little bit better, but it still has that same kind of style that you were using. So I'm going to save this again because I just re-downloaded it. And go back in the SALSA, and I'm going to upload my new one so I can see what the new one looks like instead. Hopefully it looks a little bit better. Select all again. Cool. So that looks like it's going to be way bigger. It's way easier to read because of that like paintbrush stroke in the background. So I'm going to select that. And if I go back into my virtual event, yeah, so it's a little bit easier to see. It's still not perfect. I would probably make some changes here just to make it even better, but you guys kind of get what I'm doing here. And obviously you could play around with it as much as you want. Maybe I'd get rid of the flags. I don't know that I like that so much like I thought I would. So you can really play around with it. But like I said, Canva is really great because it makes it so easy to do this stuff. And it really doesn't take a ton of time either. So the two last things I'm going to work on then are going to be the stickers. So the stickers we've talked about a little bit. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but the one thing I really do want to focus on is when it's a bigger holiday, something like the 4th of July, you can see that with your SALSA subscription, you actually get a bunch of pre-made stickers, and these are all free for you to use. So for example, we already have some 4th of July themed ones that I'm going to select on here. I'm going to use those. Maybe I'll scroll down a little bit and see if there's anything else that I see that I might want to use. I don't think I see anything else. Maybe I could just throw on some of these regular glasses for people to use as well. So having some other options, but to actually make the sticker now, it's kind of the same thing. This time though, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into elements and I'm going to search 4th of July. Now, let's see what we've got. So we have some balloons here. So what I could do with this is I could actually just make this bigger. I'm going to use these from Canva, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to download transparent background, and that's really it. I'm going to save that. Now, the cool thing about Canva, and I actually talked about this in a different sticker video that I made, you can see that Canva actually gives you some recommendations on things that match or look like they would go with what you just used. So I'm going to use this that it gave me as a recommendation and do the same thing, make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to download that as, transparent background again. And you can just go on and do this for as many different designs as you want. Maybe you want to make your own design. So maybe you take in, let's say, like these fireworks here, and then maybe you wanted to have glasses as well. So we could do glasses. Oops. And let's see if there are any good options here. I'm not seeing anything right away. I don't really see anything, but you guys kind of get what I mean. You could find like just a pair of normal glasses. Maybe you throw that in front of it. Or for example, you could maybe we'll do champagne glass. So I could do something like this, and maybe I'll make this like little firework design bigger, and I'll make this, obviously I'm just doing this really quick. It really doesn't look that great, but you guys kind of get the idea, and we could have that together. Same thing, transparent background, so on and so forth. So you guys kind of get the idea of how it is so easy to make these stickers. Again, we've gone over this in more detail. Me and Catalina have even made a video a couple weeks ago about how you can use these stickers in a corporate setting, putting brand logos on them, company products, things like that. So there are a lot of opportunities here. I'm just going to upload these ones that I've made. And then the only thing left, like I said, I'm not going to go over the overlay because we have a really, really in-depth video for that. And I'll actually link that down below so you guys have that handy. I'm going to select these ones though so that they're active. The only thing left is going to be the photo background removal. And this would actually apply to even in-person events when you're doing something like a green screen. Now, like Kat and I said last week, you can either make your own design. Maybe it's a corporate event. You're going to have the company's logo on it. Companies love to see their logo everywhere. But maybe you're just doing something fun for 4th of July, right? Maybe they ask if you have any, 4th of July themed backdrops and you don't. Instead of having to go out and buy yourself a new backdrop, what you could always do is either set them up with a green screen, or if it's a virtual event, you could do it virtually. And all you'd have to do is go into the green screen settings. Same thing, upload green screen. I'm actually just going to use that same design. I don't even need to upload it again. We're going to click on that, and that's it. That's really all it takes. And it's super easy to set this stuff up. And like I said before, it prevents you from having to go out and buy a backdrop that maybe you only use once per year. But it also gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to other designs. Maybe you want to have more than one option. So what we could do is we could always go back to Unsplash or whatever program you were using, and we could even look for something different. Maybe this time I'm going to look for fireworks, for example, and we can see all of the different photos of fireworks. Maybe this one I want to use, so I could do the same thing. Could do medium, save that, and then go back in the SALSA and add that design. So that would give me more than one option. My clients would be able to then choose between those two options. And I'll actually even link the virtual booth in the chat as well. So if you guys wanted to try it out, take a photo with it, see what it actually looks like, you're totally able to do that. So it really just helps, gives a lot of extra customization, and everything we've talked about is pretty easy to do. It only took a couple of minutes, and these little details, these little add-ons can really take your virtual event from being, yeah, it's a fun thing to have, to being, wow, this is super cool. This has so many different, fun ways to interact with it. gives the guests more opportunities to take more and more photos as well, because they have different backgrounds they want to try, different stickers that they want to use, and the more engagement you get, the better. So that's pretty much it. This live stream, it was going to be a short one today because all of this stuff is pretty short and easy to do. But as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments or in the chat. Give it a try. Share with me the virtual booth that you guys make. I would love to see them. And next week, we will be live streaming again at 2 p.m. Pacific time, like we always do. 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And we don't actually have a theme for next week. So if anybody has an idea or a recommendation, something that they would like to see that we haven't covered before, definitely let me know. You can either throw it in the comments or into the chat, or you can shoot us a message on, via email or on our Facebook page. I would love to see what you guys are looking to see. So that's going to cover the live stream for today, guys. I will see you next week. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to support@photoboothsupplyco.com. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.